Hello again, everybody. We're live again. Another Friday night, and welcome to the live stream. And tonight's one, just having a general chat, see how things are going, ask everybody what they're building, how they're getting along with it. Any questions they want to ask me, you can they can ask. You can ask there in the it comes up there in the chat. So I'll be answering any questions people have to ask, and just having a general chin wag. As you can see, I'm after tidying up the beard, haircut, the whole lot. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving here in Ireland, but happy Thanksgiving to all my American friends out there. We'll call them friends. I'll call them friends. Robbie, good evening. How are you? Thanks for joining. You're first in. As I was saying, tonight I'm just going to have a general chit chat. Look up the on the chat. Anybody wants to ask me any questions or anything like that, walk away, and we're going to kind of talk about other people's builds. And we're going to have a chat about the group build again, and anything else that might arise throughout the evening. So we have a couple more now after joining. Mr. P is after joining. Good evening. How are you? Arthur Marinelli is there. Hi, folks. Happy Thanksgiving to y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. I already said a happy Thanksgiving to all my American compatriots. John Shannon. John, how are you? John is an ex-army buddy of mine. Ian, thanks very much for that, Ian. I really do appreciate it. Evening, John. How are you tonight? And Kevin. Hello, Kevin. How are you? I suppose we might as well have a start. I'll have a quick look at the Stug, and we'll move on then from there. There we have it here beside me. Just after glass coating it last night. Okay. And as I showed in the there we go. Really happy with how that chipping came out. Really happy. I normally sort of used to use a kind of a rusty chipping color, but I decided to go for just dark iron this time. And once it dried in, it fucking looks quite good. I'm really happy with it. And then over the brown stripes, then just go over it with the dark yellow, a couple of other little streaks, and bring the brown, the dark iron in between it. So that kind of works. It even shows better. I think that the that engine deck, really happy with how that came out, and the Scherzen plates. There we go. Look at the quick look at the shirt. One's after dropping off and into water. It's a good job it was glass coated. There we go. There's the Scherzen plates there. Those damaged ones. This one here is after dropping off, and it went straight into a little fucking dish of water I have directly underneath it. Ain't that fucking typical? So, how is everybody doing? Hope you're all well. Jiminy Models, how are you? Good evening from Belfast. How's it going up there? Hope you're all well. Robbie B, cracking camo and the weathering, John. Thank you very much. Ian James, hello, John. And Kieran Kennedy, hello, John. Liam Kelly, good evening, John. The Stug is looking good. Yeah, I'm really happy with how that came out. I really am. For a kit that I wasn't really that excited with once I actually started building it. The Italieri kits, I find that they're lacking. Then again, a lot of the older kits are lacking as well. I suppose after building the the Abrams, which was a really nice. It was a modern kit when you think of it. Not that the subject was modern. The subject, of course, is modern. The newer version of the Abrams, but the kit was a modern kit as well. So the detail was a lot better. It was a lot. You have a lot more involved in the build of it. Loads of little parts to put on, whereas that Stug, being an old kit, most of the detail was already pre-molded into it, so there was very little actual in the build itself. But still, it's one of those kits that you can get a quick build and then spend all your time then in the painting. And I'm definitely going to town on that. My next kit, have I got it there or have I got it put away? Excuse me now for ducking underneath you there. I have it put away. Still in the big box. I took it out. I know I took it out. Must have put it back. Damn. It's another Atelier kit. My next build, and it's going to be. It's the Ferdinand. I already built the elephant, which is basically the Ferdinand Mark II, where they took them all back after the Battle of Kursk and fixed the little problems that they had with them. And so I'll have to say both versions of it. It's another, like I said, it's an old Atelier kit, so stay tuned to the channel for that one. Let's go back to the chat. Dave Gilmer, hello everybody. Dave, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it, really, really do. I will be talking about that later on. I won't be mentioning names or anything like that, but I will be talking about the whole reason behind that. I think the only issue you had with the kit was the barrel at the start of the build. The rest looks mint. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the barrel. It's how it's sort of how that whole thing is mounted. It's just very loose and just flimsy. I don't really like it, but I suppose it does give it that. It does have that slight side to side movement, and it's quite up and down as well. I just thought it was a very cheap and nasty way of doing it, if you know what I mean. I thought it could be done a lot nicer. I have seen it done a lot nicer since then, but then again, like I said, this kit was designed back in the 70s when people weren't as rivet countery, and I suppose then when you start getting newer kits and the newer way of doing things, and you go back then to an old kit, you're going to have that thing where the fit and how they're assembled isn't quite as up to date. And I do like old kits. I love old kits. I really, really do. But the build in that one, it was a bit lacking. But for a finish, once I started getting in, once it was all built and started getting into the painting of it, it's the same as anything else, but we'll see how it all ends up. Ian, brilliant, more German armor. Yes, more German armor. I love my German armor. I do. I must admit, I do love the German armor. Don't know why. I think it's just got that certain character about it. It looks. It just has that. I don't know. What would be the word you'd have for it? It's just got character. It looks the part. A lot of the Allied stuff. Now the Sherman looked okay. I must admit, some of the British ones looked okay, but when you compare them in looks, the German stuff just looked that more awesome. That looked more deadly, more rugged. So again, just personal thing. Let's get back into the chat again. Still struggling with the Meng Bradley with Busk 3 full interior. I've bitten off more than I can chew. Stick with it, Liam. I do know I have built the Meng Bradley without the interior, the one that you can actually get that you can get a separate interior kit for it. And I do want to build it again. I know I do want to build it again because I really enjoyed that kit. And I built that early in my return to modeling, shall we say. I built it quite a few years ago. I think it was about 4 years ago I built it. And really loved it. I loved the tracks. I thought the tracks were absolutely fabulous. And a couple of little bits and pieces that I wasn't, when it came to the glass and stuff like that, I didn't have an airbrush at the time, and I didn't use the clear blues and oranges and greens and all that kind of thing. So it was kind of slightly lacking in that respect. But like I said, I'd love to do it again now that I have an airbrush, and I think I can do a much nicer job on it. Where are we? Robbie B. Have you looked at the Meng armored bulldozer? A build in the future. Not exactly my cup of tea, if you know what I mean. I saw a good couple of builds of it. My friend Simon Kemp over in England, he built that kit. Made an absolutely beautiful job on it. Actually, go over to Simon's channel and you'll see the build he did on that. He did a beautiful interior and everything. Even though it was a nice kit and I enjoyed watching the build series of it, it just never struck me as something I wanted to build, But then again, like when it came to, this group build, I'm going to build the mouse. I'm going to order a mouse, or somebody said that they're going to give me one actually, but that's another story. And a couple of weeks ago, somebody asked me, would I be interested in doing, paper panzers? And I went, oh no, I'm not into the paper panzers. I don't like the whole idea of that. I think it's a bit sort of far fetched. But now that I'm sort of doing one for the group build, shall we say, if it's a model kit, nothing is verboten. Okay, I'm willing to build anything at this stage, and maybe not at the moment, but that Meng armored bulldozer. Yeah, I'd love to be able to sort of be good at PE and stuff like that, because I'd like to do the one with all the slat armor and things like that. I think it would look absolutely freaking fantastic. I'd say it would be a nightmare to build, but it'd be a fabulous looking kit for a finish. It looked like a pendulum of a clock. Yeah, it did, Mark, didn't it? The way the barrel swings. Do you have a favorite scale and kit maker? John Shanahan asked me that. My favorite scale, of course, would be 135. It's the most kind of sort of common. There's a much better choice in it. I do like the 1/16 scale, but they're just far too expensive, to be quite honest with you. But 1/35 scale, my favorite maker, I suppose it would have to be Tamiya. For selection and sort of build quality, and when it goes down to sort of the history of model kits. I remember when I was about, say, 15 and 16, and I kind of just when I was getting out of the models, say, as a younger person, Tamiya's were the ones to get, but they were too expensive for a 15-year-old. And then when I started getting back into it, then I could pick up some of the older kits, and the Tamiya's that are still available. You can still get them, and you can get them at a quite reasonable price, and there's some lovely kits. They have learned how to price things lately, I must admit, but Tacom are nice. Trumpeter. Trumpeter are nice kits as well. And I've only ever built one Ming, and that was the Bradley. Apart from the little Mings, all right, the cartoon Mings. But I'd say overall would be Tamiya. Tamiya would be my favourite. Robbie B. I should just touch this thing and it's gone. Liam had the same problem with the kit, so saved the busk and put it on at the Tamiya Bradley. All right. I didn't have any problems with the Busco, I must admit. It was more the sort of the glass parts of it. Or is that the Busk, is it? Busk is or the Bradley Urban Survival Kit, yeah. So that would be that bulletproof glass type stuff. Yeah, I kind of hand painted it, and I just left the glass plain. But I would like to go back and do it again, like I said, because I do have the clear paints, and once I've learned how to use them and things like that, I'm quite nice with them. Ian James, me too, much better than the Allied stuff. I presume you're talking about the German stuff. Mark Lego, love German armor. Ian James, menacing. Yes, that's a good word. Much more menacing. They looked awesome. Mark says that they're just better engineered. Yeah, to a certain degree, they were kind of a bit over-engineered, Definitely, if it was a case that the Germans had a lot more of them, say the likes of, if they could fix the problems that they had with the Tiger, say a better engine and gearbox for the weight of the Tigers, than say more Panthers and Panzer IVs, and could sort of replace their losses just as easy as the Allies could have had, and say the numbers, they would have been unbeatable, unfortunately. But thank God they didn't, when you think of it, for a finish. But the sort of the weight of numbers definitely between the Russians. Like when you look at, say, a T-34 compared to a Tiger, 1-to-1, there's no comparison whatsoever. But when it came down to what it cost to build a T-34 and what it cost to build a Tiger, you build something like 4 or 5 T-34s to a Tiger. And it probably took about 3 or 4 T-34s to knock out a Tiger, because they sort of 2 to keep it sort of busy in the front, and then the other 2 sort of flanking it and get it in a lucky shot up his bum, or on the side where they were at their weakest. Dirk Digler, good evening. Good evening. How are you? Liam Kelly, you're welcome to mine. Sausage Fingers, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Sausage Fingers. I've sausagey fingers myself, I must admit. Panzer Kampfwagen 8, the mouse, yes. What was the 7? What was the Panzer Kampfwagen 7? Would that have been the E100? So the mouse then became the Panzer 8. Don't know. Love German armor. More. There we go again. More variety of kits. Yes, definitely. They did do some amount of different variants. Some right weird looking stuff as well, I must admit. The 135th scale trumpeter is very nice. Almost finished the Whitman 007 Tiger at the moment. Yeah, I didn't. I did the 007 Whitman Tiger. I did the Tamiya one, and I just have it just over there. No, the Tamiya one is a lovely kit. You get figures and all with it, and it's very, very nice. Very, very nice. All new molds and all that. Very, very nice indeed. I loved it. Yeah. Ian says that he loves the old Tamiya kits. Very nice price. Yes, most definitely. Color and camo on the German stuff compared to the armors. Yeah. Sorry, compared to the Allied stuff. definitely the yellow, but they're just plain old drab old green. At least the sort of, when you look at, say, the way modern tanks are camouflaged, sort of the Germans were the first to kind of do that type camo, the 3 and 4 color camo. Sausage Fingers must agree with German armor is my favorite, and mine too. Do you have any tips for rubber tracks? No, I like rubber tracks. Okay. I find nothing wrong with them, and once you can do them, they look just as good. Now, when it comes to trying getting a sag in there, it is possible. It is possible to get a sag. The easiest thing to do, like I use this here, little screwdriver, and as you can see, it's all black at the tip. With the holes, I mean, I've set of rubber tracks here. I think when you're putting them together, use a toothpick or something and widen the hole slightly with it, right? Now, the reason for using a toothpick is because the rubber will close back in again, right? So open the holes and put in the little prods, shall we say. Then lay it down flat on a table and weigh down either side. Use something to kind of keep it down. Melt your screwdriver and do a quick flattening down and a rub across. So you're kind of melting that joint together. And once you leave it cool, they're just as good as anything else. I mean, they're rubber tracks. They're quite grand. I then undercoat everything with NATO black, and then just paint away them whatever colors you prefer to paint them with. With me, I use a mixture of hull red and dark iron. It gives a nice kind of a rustyish color, and dry brush then. Okay, like this one now is just got the plain rust color on it, right? Now they've got to be weathered yet. Then a dry brush. Okay, dry brush with silver. And at that stage then they're ready then for weathering. And for weathering then I'll make sure I gloss coat them. I made that mistake once before. I didn't gloss coat them because once you start, especially if you use white spirit and oil paints for your wash, what will happen is it kind of softens the rubber and they stretch a bit. And they don't sort of spring back. So they'll, what would be, say, a nice tight fit before you weather them, you'll find that they're a bit looser once you weather them with the with a white spirit based wash. So once you gloss coat them, you're not going to get that problem. But overall, I've no problems with rubber tracks, none whatsoever. I do like Indie Link tracks though, but you get you take what you can get, and I won't go off and buy aftermarket tracks. I just won't buy them. Simple as that. That was my tiger posted on the page last night. Yes, I did look at it, and I think I commented on that as well, didn't I? Yes, I did. I commented on it. Don Nickel. Oh, Don, how are you? First night for me catching you live. How's Don? Don is my other administrator or admin on the Facebook page. So big wave out to Don. Robbie B, rubber tracks are great. Can't use the other types. I only buy kits with rubber tracks. They work. They work. There's nothing wrong with them. And once you can actually get them to look quite good. Just give it the time. I use super glue for rubber tracks. Yes, with the newer stuff, the newer rubber tracks. But if you're getting, say, an old kit and you try to use the super glue with them, Jake, they won't hold. They won't do it all. You'll end up having to sort of use staples. And that's an idea I hate. I hate the fucking staples. I know you can't see if you can't see the top, yeah, you can use the staples. You're right there, Robbie, but still, I still don't like him. 75% NATO brown, 20% NATO black, 5% red mix I use for tracks. Gives a nice weathered look. Yep. And like, if you mix NATO brown and you'd say 75% NATO brown and 5% red, so you've got that thing that's basically whole red, as close as you can get to the whole red. So it's kind of the same thing. You'll end up with really reasonably enough the same color. Hi Don, it's John here, lol. IXF72 for truck. XF72. Yeah, what color is the XF72? Squire Me. I love the rubber tracks. It's like having plastic rat lines for ship models. It's easier. Mark, John. So anyway, lads, if anybody has noticed on the Facebook, I said I might as well kind of mention it now. I opened up a GoFundMe page. Now, a lot of humming and hawing for me to do that, and it was actually somebody sort of suggested it to me, and I've been sort of chatting away with them on Messenger. Now, I'm not going to mention the name of the person that's been doing it with me. And basically, it started off with, they were saying, that the quality of my videos, it could be a lot better. And I agreed with them. Yes, it could be a lot better. But then once I explained to them, what I'm using, and basically that, like, I use what I can afford to use, and that's it. Money on an army pension, and I don't have that much freaking money like the rest of us. And I have my camera is what's it? It's a Microsoft Live Cam. It's a webcam. Now, quality's okay. It's not bad. It is sort of HD. And my computer is, I used to have a better laptop. Well, I wouldn't say better laptop, but I used to have a laptop computer. And then when that started to go, I bought this here, right? What I'm using at the moment. And it's a Chromebook. When I purchased it, I thought it was the same as a computer, and I could go off and get, I said, nice and new, I'll get an editing software for it, the whole shebang. And had been using it for about a week or two, and then realized, oops, it is not a computer. It's more of a sort of a internet-looking device and things like that. You can do 90% of what you can do in a computer, but it's more, say, like the same as a mobile phone, rather than a computer. As in, there's lots of things you can't do on it, and you can't get editing software for it. I have tried. There's ways that you can kind of edit videos to a certain degree, but excuse me, they're not great. They're not great at all. So he then suggested, he said, why don't you just open up a GoFundMe page? And says, what can you lose from it, And he said, open up a GoFundMe page, set a figure you'd like to, research what you want to get, set that as a figure, and just basically ask. Simple as that. And, you're not kind of going up to the person so they don't have to say no to your face. And embarrassing enough as it is, and I'm being 100% honest with you, I'm quite embarrassed about doing this, but it's the only way that I can improve the quality of the videos. And I'd really like to improve the quality of the videos, especially when it comes to, say, close-ups, because good and all as the live cam is, I spend a lot of time apologizing for, the fact that the zooming is slow, as in, I wouldn't say the zoom, but the way it's out of focus, and it takes a while to get the focus right and things like that. the still photographs aren't quite great on it, as in the color is slightly off. It doesn't show the actual colors, and they're saying, well, it's actually darker or it's lighter, and it's not actually showing it up great, and this, that, and the other. So that's the reason behind the GoFundMe page. I want to basically buy yourself a decent computer with get an proper editing software for it, and a DSLR camera where I can take good stills and also do good quality videos on it, and that's basically the whole reason behind it. So if you can help me out, then yippee. I really do appreciate it. And if you can't, then you can't. Simple as that. You know what I mean? And I know as much as anybody, you know, that these are not the times to be sort of asking people for money. But, you know, like I said, give it a go. And I must admit that a couple of people have already donated, and I'm already on the way, shall we say. So that's the reason behind it. It is kind of a bit embarrassing that I'm doing it, and shall we say, I'm, you know, as you can see from the way I am at the moment, I'm a bit embarrassed about the whole thing, but I'll leave it at that anyway, lads, and that's my kind of an explanation behind it. So let's get back to the chat anyway. Thanks for the tips about the rubber tracks. Use staples. Bum, bum, bum. I don't use any scale media like Facebook. Oh, social media, sorry. I don't use any. Robbie. Robbie, basically, I was just explaining. I sort of posted up on the Facebook page and on my own personal Facebook page, and that's what it is. Scratch Bond. Hi guys, Nils here. Hello, Nils. Don Nickel, last week you were talking about Super Hobby in Poland. I buy kits from them, great company to deal with. Courier cost cheap. I buy paints, glues, etc. from Mark's Models in Dublin. Yes, Mark's do good deals, and the great thing about Mark's Models in Dublin, if you're in Ireland especially, no matter what you buy, it's only £6 delivery. It's a set kind of delivery fee. So if you're buying especially when you're buying paints and things and washes and anything that's got any bit of weight to it, you're not paying by weight. Whereas if you buy sort of stuff from England, it depends on the weight, and you can kind of pay through the nose sometimes for them. So anything else that anybody would like to ask me? I'm working on the figures for that little the 1/16 scale figures. I'm kind of stuck on the faces. I'm just after, we can get a close up here again on that. I'll take my own face out of the way. And just see, I got the base color down. See what I mean about what I'm saying about trying to get quality and getting the zoom in. Now those figures, like I look at that there, and they're fucking very nice, but I can't seem to. Is it the light that's doing it? There we go. Whoa, in and out. As you see, I have the white down there for the start of the eyes. You get away with it in 1/35 scale, not doing eyes, but for 1/16 scale, you definitely have to do. You have to do something with eyes. I'll be watching Mr. Shane Smith. Shane is brilliant for painting the eyes. I don't like how a lot of his other shading and all that kind of thing. I think they look a bit these are purely a personal thing. I think they look a little bit cartoonish when you overdo shading on the faces and things like that. You know, if you look at a person's face, there isn't a drastic change anywhere on the face. It's just sort of light and very, very, very light. And I think you can get all that with a decent enough wash. rather than, painting lighter here and darker there, and it can kind of look a bit stark and a bit cartoonish, a bit clownish sometimes. But I do like the way he does the eyes. The eyes can look very, very good. David Gilmer posted the GoFundMe link. Yeah, where would I post that, Dave? I posted it on Facebook. I posted it. Yeah, posted it on Facebook. Can you actually post that on YouTube? I don't think you can. It gives share options. All right. Hold on a second. I have it up here. Gives a share. When I hit share, it gives you Facebook, Twitter, email, WhatsApp. You can embed in Hotmail. Yeah. I don't think you can paste this fundraiser anywhere. Tip. Yeah. What's that? That TikTok? No. Yeah. It doesn't give YouTube as a sharing platform for that, unfortunately. Dave Gilmer here. If I could, hold on a second. What I could do is, I'll just try something just for the crack. Bump. Share. Copy. Paste. No. Will that work? I don't know. Do you use oil paints for the faces? I do with the there's something I did try. I did it on. I didn't do it on her. I did it on him. I did it on him because I wanted him quite dirty, his face, right? And as you can see, I ended up with that kind of cartoon look. But when you look at it from, say, distances in, about a foot, that's grand. I wanted him quite dirty because I wanted the uniform kind of dirtied up and the whole lot. I really liked how the fur came out on his hood. Again, the live cam, it doesn't really. It doesn't really show to its best effect. With his girlfriend now, I just used ordinary. I think I just used ordinary Tamiya paints on her, and I was really happy with how she came out. Gave her a bit of blush, but I don't know. I have to separate them because he keeps trying to open her jacket. I keep trying to open her jacket, I must admit. And then I have the figures on the tiger, the two figures from the tiger. They come out well as well. So they're oil paints. I give them a base coat of say this is the flesh tone I'm using, model color, sunny skin tone. I'm going to do the eyes white, then the little black, and then bring it all sort of, or not black, but I'll use blue, and then bring it all kind of back in again. Then with the flesh tones again, fill in around. So you're only going to end up with tiny little bits of the white and the blue for the eyes, and then I'll gloss coat them, and then I'll kind of give them I play around them with some oils. It's what did somebody call it? Reverse dry brushing is where you kind of use burnt sienna and white, and you kind of block out the face with it, and then you get a dry brush, and then keep removing. And just keep removing, and then you end up with a kind of a goes into, say, all the creases in the face, and you end up with slightly different shades. And if you wipe it all away, you can kind of keep going over it and over it and over it. But as long as you say glass coat underneath, you're not going to lose the basics. And if you make a mess of it, you can just wipe it all off, and you can kind of play around with it that way. Dark Diggler, did it work? It works. Oh, good stuff. He looks great from here. Do you know what I mean? I've the monitor here literally directly in front of me, and I can see what you see, and I know for a fact that he didn't look bad, but they look a lot better, say, IRL, in real life. And I have seen, say, when people use a proper camera on it and with proper lighting, you can get that image, and you can get the proper colors, and they look better. And I just want to kind of move up a level. Yes, I want to keep the channel totally amateur. I don't want it to be, say, flash professional or anything like that, but I just would like to improve the quality of it for you guys, really, because like, I can see them here and things like that, but I noticed that, going back some of my videos, that the colors they're not kind of showing out as good, and you're a lot of, when you do, say, subtle weathering, it doesn't really show up with that camera. It just it leaves a lot to be desired, shall we say. It has that 100-yard, that 1,000-yard stare. But then again, sort of, if you look back at a lot of old war films, no, I'm talking about war clips now, not films. YouTube is full of them, and they show, say, Allied and German soldiers. They have that weird look about them, that 1,000-yard stare. You can see it in kids, especially when you look at say, when they do close-up pictures of say, some of the Hitler Youth guys, that after they've sort of had a bit of battle experience, and they've seen some things that no kid, no human should really see. They have the face of a child, but when you see look into their eyes, they're old. They're old. They've old man's eyes. It's shocking. Like, Del there, don't knock yourself. You're doing a great job with the tools you have, buddy. Yeah, I know. I mean, I as I said, I did this whole thing for the the GoFundMe thing. I'm happy with going the way I'm going. It's there's an old saying, no skin off my nose, shall we say. I'm not doing it really. I don't do the channel for my own sort of self-gratification. I'm doing it to kind of to share the hobby, because the hobby is actually quite good. And I noticed there that reading in the comments on the Facebook page, there's a chap there that he's only 19, and he was saying that from watching, say, the channel and from the Facebook page and things like that, he's actually started off kind of half into the hobby, and he's really enjoying it. And that's the great thing about it. Now, I know that give it another year or two, he'll probably come out of the hobby. Other things will get in the way, life gets in the way, like let's say a lot of us, we did it as youngsters up until to the age of maybe 18, 19. Then we sort of discovered women going out, and life gets in the way, then marriage, kids and things like that. And then when you get to sort of an older retiring age, whereas you're sick of fucking watching the shite that's on television and you want something to do in the evenings, I pick up that. It's causing no harm to anybody, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And with the Facebook page, I'm kind of sharing it with people and trying to bring them in as well, and get them going. and show people that there are options out there. There's you don't have to, shall we say, you don't have to kind of lock yourself away in a room for hours and hours on end and become a total antisocial person. All I do is I do 2 hours in the evening, and for those 2 hours I can kind of go into my own little fairyland and building the tanks and things like that. And when I'm painting and weathering them, I'm sort of, in my mind, I'm there, and that's the great thing about it. It's an escape from reality. And then my 2 hours or so is up. I go downstairs, have a cup of tea with herself and relax for a while, and then go to bed. And then tomorrow back into it again, back my day's thing, and then tomorrow evening back into the modeling again. I have it at a nice level. I did, like, when I got back into it first, I was spending too much time and I kind of shut everybody out, and it's so easy to do. I've seen people sort of building man caves and things like that, and you know damn well within 2 or 3 years, then they're sort of getting divorced because they've locked themselves away from everybody, and all they're thinking about is models. And I think if you could find that happy medium where everybody's happy, you're happy that you're getting your bit of escapism with your modeling and the painting and all the different aspects to modeling, and then you can still have, say, all the rest of the day and then the evening for family life and things like that. So you have to find that happy medium, that it's your time for you, and it's not taking time away from everything else as well. But I did find that when I got back into it, I was spending far too much time with the models, and I nearly lost everything, shall we say. But I was slapped back into reality, and now I have it at a happy medium. For me, it's between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock every evening, and for you, it's whatever time, whatever. Find your little time slot, and take that time to spend for yourself. Now, some evenings I come up here, I'd get everything ready or whatever, and I might put on 2 or 3 pieces and then look at the instructions and go, I'm just not in the humor for it. I'll put it down and I'll watch YouTube clips. But that's still my 2 hours. Do you know what I mean? And for those 2 hours, I'll watch build videos from other people. I'll watch sort of, say to myself, oh, what will I get next? I might get such and such a kit. And I look down at other people that have built those kits and say, right, I like the kit, but I wouldn't build it that way. Or I wouldn't paint it that way. I do this and I do that. And that's within my 2 hours. So, find that little happy medium. As Robbie says, keep the wife happy first. Exactly. And last as well, sort of later on, maybe, if you're sort of still got the energy. Yes, and live within your means. Exactly. I started back about 1960s to get away from my 3 sisters. Yeah. Oof. I didn't have sisters. I had one brother, and I got into it because I started off sort of, with the war films first, and then I started playing with the midgets. Remember midgets? Airfix, the little Airfix 172nd, or were they 172nd or 176? But the little Airfix figures, building my little armies and playing with them and making different setups and things. And then I wanted armor to go with them, so I started off with the 172nd scale. And like I said before, I didn't even paint them. I just sort of stuck the decals on the bare plastic. I was happy with that at the time. And then when I got back into it, then got into the painting of it, getting into the thing and the weathering. And I just enjoy every part of it now at this point in time. Mark calls it his plastic fix. Exactly. It's better than any drug, isn't it? Sort of some great war films out there. Dave likes the new short form of video updates. Keep those. Yes, like even though I did say I wanted to kind of do sort of longer build videos and things like that, I would keep up the sort of the every 2 days short snip, quick snippet ones. But then for a finish, then I'd like to be able to do a sort of a build video like I used to kind of do, if you know what I mean, or say like something akin to what Andy Hobby Headquarter does, whereas he sort of builds, paints, and the whole lot, all segmented into one quick half hour. But yes, keep the other sort of the nightly ones going, whereas you can kind of explain a bit more in detail, whereas the other ones then are for say not necessarily a different type of audience, but a different type of video covering the whole thing. Say a recap of the whole lot all into one video. So if you just want to if somebody's sort of just searching for just say, take this one here, the Stug, somebody thinking of buying a Stug, and they're looking for different ways on what kits are there, and different paint techniques and this, that, and the other. They can kind of look at the full video, see the whole build and thing within 20 minutes or half an hour. Because any more than 20 minutes, half an hour, people will sort of start to lose interest and they start flicking through it. Whereas the short ones, I do find that people are actually watching the whole video because they're only 10 minutes or so, and you're going to watch it for 10 minutes. But yeah, I do like the idea of the short ones myself, and it does work. It does work. John, I like the fact, Sausage Fingers here, he says, I like the fact that you and many others, you make the most of what you can afford. Yes, exactly. And I find when I make my own washes rather than buying products, for pigments, I haven't done pigments now in a long time. I used to do a lot more pigments before when I used to when I made, say, dials, and I haven't done a dial for a fucking long time. But if you are making dials and things like that, instead of going off and buying tubs and tubs of pigments, go off and buy yourself a set of chalk pastels. Chalk pastels. Bit of sandpaper, grate them in. You end up like, if you like one chalk stick will get you maybe 2 tubs of pigments, and you can get, say, a set of chalk pastels for about 5 or 6 quid, and you get maybe a great range of colors, and they're basically just the same, and they do fabulous, just the same as anything else. And there's loads of other little things, like, as I said, like I found now with the airbrush cleaner, using Surgical Spirit. It's the same fucking stuff as buying a bottle of airbrush cleaner for a tenner, and it's a tenner sterling, whereas you can go off and buy, and you're getting, say, 250 mils, whereas you get 500 mils of Surgical Spirit for a £5. So it's a quarter of what you're paying for, isn't it? Little things like that. They're all handy. The bump. Oh, here are we? The war films. Bump. Bridge Over the River Kwai. That's a good film. Yes, Jack, you're dead right there. Or even some of the new ones. I think I'll tell you. Saving Private Ryan is one of the fucking best war films out there. There are some great ones, and then you've got Band of Brothers. That's an excellent series, and the spin-off then from that, the Pacific, that's another great one as well. The painting of kits has moved on big time from when I was a kid, and me too. I remember, like, when I started off as a kid, that was it. They were the only paints you could get, those enamels, and they took forever to fucking dry. You always ended up with thumbprints and fingerprints inside them, whereas the new acrylics are absolutely fucking brilliant. And if you're airbrushing, Tamiya can't beat them. And if you're hand painting, I definitely suggest, if you're a person that doesn't use an airbrush, like I hand painted all my stuff for about 2 years, and I found them to be the best paints for hand painting. Okay, they're Citadel colors. They're the colors that the gamers use. Absolute beautiful paint for hand painting. Okay, for hand painting, let's say large scale hand painting, like say painting the bodies of tanks and things. Absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Great quality paints. Good quality paint. Fury, yes, Fury is a good one. I did a Fury. Where's my Fury? There's my Fury. There's my Fury. Fury. And I had to sort of change the whole back of that to come up with what was there in the film. But again, that's an Italieri kit. It turned out to be actually one of my favorites. One of my favorites indeed. I have some of my dad's old Testors enamel paints. 40 cents for silver and 30 cents for gold paint. Yeah. So Testors, I presume now that Uncle No Identity, you're in the US of A. Testors, I've never seen Testors over here. Okay, that's humble. It's in the bin now. That's humble. God, yeah, the Revell. Yeah, the Revell. But they were the ones. They were the ones I kind of got. Yep, Mr. No Identity. Yes, he's in America. Yeah. Ian DeVecchis, my brother was an extra in Band of Brothers. Nice one. That's that. my brother was in that film. Yeah, I know a fair amount of extras that were in Saving Private Ryan. I know loads and loads of guys that were in extras in that, and because it was filmed, most of that was filmed in Ireland, believe it or not. The D-Day landing part of that was filmed in Ireland. Yes, the beach is actually in Ireland, and the same then with and most of the extras that were the FCA, which was the Irish Army Reserve. Okay, so most of the extras in Saving Private Ryan were Irish Army, and it's the same with the Mel Gibson one, Braveheart. Braveheart was filmed in Ireland. A lot of Braveheart was filmed in Ireland as well, and most of the extras in that were Irish Army as well. So that was our claim to fame. Jake Hope, he was an extra in Vera. They filmed the scene at my school. I had 0.5 seconds of camera time. Nice one. There's Jake's, and every time it comes on, you go, that was me. Go back, reverse, stop. That's it. Look, that's me. Yeah. There are model car kits where you live and who makes them. Yes, you can get them. Okay. I've never actually seen them on the shelves, but then again, in Limerick, where I live, we have one hobby shop. It's more of a gamers type thing. They do a lot of World of Warcraft and that kind of thing. They do the only kind of the very, very few model kits. But I get my stuff. I get all my kits really from England, from modelhobbies.co.uk, and I'm not into the building of the cars. It's shall we say, it's they're too clean, and you got to be so perfect, and you got to do all this, extra polishing and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of them I've seen are either AMT or Tamiya. Front lighting and pop-up black background would work well and very cheap. Online off to work, John Nighthall. Mr. P is off to work. Mark's Models. There you go, Del. Del there says Mark's Models. If you're in Ireland, go up to Mark's Models. He does the car kits. I think they're AMT, isn't it? Yeah. Rose Bubbles. Hi. Hello, Rose. Rose Bubbles. I don't presume that's your actual surname, Rose, is it? Or are you just a bubbly person? Rose Bubbles. So anyways, that's it for another Friday night's chat. Yeah, Del there says AMT. Yeah, they're kind of the car manufacturers. I think they're an American company, aren't they? AMT. So anyway, lads, that's it for another Friday night. Don't forget to stay tuned to the channel. Like I said, I'm after glass coating the Stug now. So tomorrow night I'm going to get the first layer of weathering on that. So that means it's Sunday evening. I'll be doing a quick one of my quick little videos on that, and that should be up about this time Sunday evening. It will be well up by this time Sunday evening. So stay tuned and watch that. Don't forget to hit the bell if you are subscribed to the channel. So anyway, lads, I'll leave you all go. Thanks very much for joining me this evening. Slán Abhaile, agus God of Mahaguth. That's thank you in Irish. And I hope to see you all again next Friday, and we'll have another chit chat. So anything you want to ask me, make a note of it and stick it into the comments box. I like to keep things sort of informal. So in my informal way, I will tell you to go out and buy yourself a feckin' kit, build it, and enjoy it. I'll see you on the next one, lads. Take care and be safe. Okay, be safe out there. And to my American friends, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Although it depends on where you are in America, it's just still morning in some places. So have a nice Thanksgiving, and hopefully that you're thankful for something anyway in this horrible feckin' year of 2020. Worst year I've ever had in my life, and I'd say that's the same for everybody out there. So until the next time, good luck. And where's the stop? There we go.